Hi, this is Dana Lombardy, and I'm talking with my friend and colleague in the game industry, Steve Jackson. Not to be confused with the Steve Jackson over in the UK. How often do you have that problem?
It happens once in a while since we had the bad judgment to get born with the same name, but we get past it.
Good, good. Well, this is the first of hopefully several little videos that we're going to post during the Kickstarter for one of your most famous games that actually back in 1980, I believe, when you formed Steve Jackson Games, was one of the first games you did, which was
That's right.
one page bulge. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, tell us a little bit why you decided to do one page bulge. What was the background and what kind of reaction did you get?
Well, there was essentially a challenge in Moves magazine about getting the rules of an interesting and playable war game onto one page. And I thought, yeah, why not? I picked the bulge because it was so very well documented. There was a lot of information available about it, and it was in a geographically handleable area.
Hmm.
And that was one of the first four releases that Steve Jackson Games did. We did we did four at once because even then distributors didn't want to talk to a company with only one game.
Hmm.
So it was fine. We'll do four little things.
Yep. And when you say little, obviously a lot of people don't realize this is the size of the box. It literally is a pocket game because it fit into the pocket of somebody whose jeans or coat could accommodate it.
And that's the reprint. The original version was not in a box, it was in a baggie.
Ah, okay. So what were the other games you came out with at the same time besides One Page Bulge?
Oh, we tried to cover the waterfront. Uh, we did Kung Fu 2100, which was a science fiction game.
Hmm.
And we did the first set of Cardboard Heroes, fantasy game. Oh, and what was the other one? Darn. Should have done my homework. I didn't realize you were going to interview me about the early
I didn't
days.
mean to put you on the spot. Was it Ogre?
No, at that time we did not have the rights to Ogre. Those were still with Metagaming.
Okay. All right. Fantasy, what was it? Fantasy Flight? No, not Fantasy Flight. That's the name of the company.
I don't believe it. Was it Raid on Iran or did that come later?
No, Raid in Iran. I think you're right. Yeah, I believe it was.
Let me check out your friend and mine, Board Game Geek, and see what the publishing date was on that because my library is upstairs and I'm not.
Yeah, it says 1980s. Your game Raid on Iran was one of the immediate success. Let me see what it says about when
Yeah,
it was
well,
released.
if it was 1980, that would have been the original launch.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the other one. I wasn't sure whether that was then or later. So
Okay.
we did one modern, one historical, one fantasy, and the cardboard miniatures.
Gotcha. So I have a friend who's playtesting the new one page bulge, although I shouldn't say it's totally new. It's mostly graphically brought up to standards in 2024. But the basic game is still your basic game. We've got some bells and whistles that we're going to add to it that people can look at and that we're going to post. But I have a good friend who loves your work and he wanted me to give a shout out because he just wanted to let you know how much fun you have provided him. He's much younger than us, and he's just a Car Wars ogre GEV fanatic, and he just loves what you've been doing.
Well, I'm glad. Tell them thanks.
You got it. So one of the things that a lot of people may not know, but I'm going to show this in the my window, is that there it is. This is one page bulge. That's it. Okay. So you succeeded in what you were trying to do. Um, there's a slight cheat. It's one sheet of rules, and it doesn't all fit on this one side, but it's not all because it's like this much. So that the total rules is a little bit more than an 8.5 by 11. But you succeeded in what what you set out to do with one page bulge. What kind of reaction did you get? Because most of the war games back then were like, I mean, this was crazy. It was like 48-page booklets of rules.
Oh yeah, yeah. North Africa.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Um, the reaction was not explosive or anything. Nobody hated it. Some people liked it. It was acknowledged that it was a good little, Battle of the Bulge game.
Yeah,
So
good.
that was all I was going for. Yes, it can be done. Here it is. Have fun.
That's great. I had a an interesting reaction. You know that I did a very simple game called NORAD. All the rules fit literally next to the map, and when you unfolded it, and it was a game about the 1962 Cuban crisis, and it escalates into a war. So Russian bombers are trying to come over the polar area and down into America and Canada and bomb everything. Um, that game, people either hated it or they loved it because some of the people that contacted me said it was way too simple, way too simple. Some guy said it's nuclear checkers. You just move forward. Either you reach the town and blow it up, and you flip the counter over, and it shows a mushroom cloud. But you didn't have that experience with Bulge because it was more traditional war game.
It was very much in the tradition of Avalon Hill and SPI.
Mm-hmm.
It was just boiling it down to the essentials and then boiling it a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's amazing if you do that because I am now at the point in my life of designing that I'm trying to do more solitaire games, and I'm also trying to do them within a like you can do them in a classroom for teaching purposes within an hour. That includes learning the game, playing the game, and then doing a after action report type of thing. And it is challenging, but I think it's incredibly rewarding because they think more people will play a game like that rather than read 48-page booklet. Even though that's fun, it's challenging, but you need a big space to do it in. And that's I wanted to keep the good things you had in one page bulge, and at the same time just bring up some of the graphics and other things to the standards that are today what we expect in a game.
Well, in the past 40 years, we've learned a little bit more about game mechanics too.
Has it been 40 years? Oh my God. Yes.
Oh, more than that, I think. 1980,
What is that? That's like 50. Holy cow.
not not
Not quite.
quite.
Not quite, but it's between 40 and 50 years.
Yeah,
That's
44.
wow. Wow. Well, I am excited to be doing this with you, Steve. I mean, cooperating with together on this reprint, the second edition of One Page Bulge. I'm pumped. We already have some artwork and other things. I'll probably have some of those posted in this interview so people can see them. And then what we can do is, as we have new ones, if they want to sign up for the email before we launch the Kickstarter, they can see more things that we're showing, and then everything's going through you and your staff, obviously, before it becomes official.
I really look forward to seeing how it goes.
Yep. Me too. I don't even know some of the stuff what we're going to do because I got some people who are excited. I don't even think they were born when you did this, so they're going ooh ooh ooh. This is how. What if we do this? What if we do that?
And
So
the Kickstarter backers are going to get a little bit of a say in how some of these things go, right?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. We're going to let them have a say. For example, one example is that we have um, artwork on the counters. And of course, the traditional NATO symbols will be one of the way that we do it. But another way that we can have the counters is with historical identity, the patches on the American units, and then the
Unit
German.
crests, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the so that we have the historical things, not instead of, but as an additional, so they can do both. What it depends on what they want.
Mm-hmm.